So I just kind of thought of this because my campsite neighbors here are running their generator, which I don't care, it doesn't matter to me. Totally fine, and there's absolutely a time and a place to use a gas generator. However, gas is far more efficient generally, much better option for some off-grid stuff, especially as a backup or as a addition to solar and hydro or anything like that as well. However, I do want to show you, I have this little Bluetti station. I'm not sure if I've shown it before. I actually got this thing back in 2020 when it was on a Indiegogo starter, Kickstarter type thing. It's 2 kilowatts or so of power, but I'm using it right now, powering up mobile Starlink. The reason we have a mobile Starlink is because my wife runs a property management business and she needs to stay connected if we end up going camping, because she has to be able to get back into town and go and actually help out people who are renting her properties out in our town. She needs to be able to go back and help them. But what I'm doing right now is, for my purposes, truck camping, things like that, charging up GoPro batteries, easily running the Starlink. Right now we're taking all of 60 watts, 59, and you can turn on AC and DC modes. These little Bluetti things, there's other brands as well. I've really liked the Bluetti though, it's been great. Seen other people who've had them, multiple other people. I know a couple people who lived in their camper for a few years, and obviously it's not super crazy reliable for, depending on how you scale it up. They have some really big systems that would absolutely run an off-grid cabin. But if you're having one of these little systems, you have to know its limits and know what it's being used for. But it's really good. Like I said, this is the original prototype model that I got on the Indiegogo starter a while back, 2020. So I've had this now for, 5 years, and it's really been good. It's been functioning, it's been great. I believe it's a Life PO4. I can't remember if it's a Life PO4 battery or not. Bluetti, if you're watching, if you're interested, I wouldn't mind testing out a new model, so just saying. Anyways, it would be great to be able to do that for sure. And as I scale up and do some more off-grid building projects, you'll definitely see this more. What I can do though is I'd like to get panels mounted up on my roof, which is not hard to do. I'm definitely going to do it on my work trailer and make it so that I can take that thing, go build off-grid with it, I've run a planer with this, 15 amp planer. I've run track saw, table saw, all sorts of stuff off of this thing. And you can build pretty easily with this, but it's really good for truck camping as well, because you just don't use all that much power on these little Starlinks or GoPro batteries or anything like that. So if you're interested at all, Bluetti is I can say at least is a reliable brand. I'm sure there's other ones too that are pretty good. EcoFlow, Jackery, all these different ones. I would say make sure you're being careful though. Make sure you're getting something that has a good BMS, MPPT controller. I'm not the expert by any means on solar. Like I've always said, this is a what I'm doing channel, not a how-to channel. I heard somebody say, one of the YouTube people, but I kind of like it. It's a good phrase, what I'm doing, not a how-to channel. You can get some ideas if you want, but as another one of my favorite YouTube channels says, that we don't learn anything from this channel. We're just doing stuff. You're watching, you're not learning anything from this. If you're interested at all, it's a good setup. So I'd highly encourage checking them out to see what works for you. As far as the Starlink goes, this thing, I have taken it a lot of different places at this point. I've had Starlink as well, because out where we're at, the fastest internet we had was, I don't know, what was it? Something like 15 megs or something like that. And it's great. It was a good local company that worked really well and did a really good job. However, if you're talking about just sheer practicality, the Starlink is absolutely the way to go if you are in a little more rural off-grid environment. But even with this one with a little built-in router and everything, it does a great job, and I've gotten like 300 megs on it. All it does is it's got this little kickstand, hooks in here and connects up there to space and stuff. Pretty sure that's how it works. I don't know. I know nothing about it. Elon could tell you, I suppose. It's a really cool thing, and obviously no one else has the infrastructure like they do to do that. There are some obvious downsides and things that maybe it could be used for that, and has been used for, that maybe isn't ideal, but it's also been a game changer for people who are off-grid, live in their truck, which I do not. There's a time when I used to spend a lot more nights on the ground, but not these days as much. I try to get out when I can. Using a Starlink, using a Bluetti, I can very easily stay in contact with my family. My wife can stay in contact with her clients when she needs to, if we're going, you know, out camping somewhere, things like that. And it's just a really useful little setup. I know people that poo-poo it and think, oh, that's not roughing it, whatever. I've done enough roughing it in my life. I know the difference. Like I said, I used to start my wood stove fires from scratch every single time, and I thought, man, I'm just gonna do this the pure way always. And I still split all my wood by hand and everything every season, but I started using a MAP gas torch. Never went back. MAP gas torch, way to go. So I am in no ways a Luddite or anything along those lines. I enjoy technology. I mean, filming on a GoPro right here, and you know, technology is a cool thing, but also it's cool to be able to use it and supplement with what you're doing in the outdoors, rather than just kind of being stuck out here completely away from everything when you have responsibilities you also have to take care of back at home. I'm totally fine with being disconnected as well. The other thing with Starlink is you can actually run this thing off of one of these little power banks. This one's a 25,000 milliamp hour, and the big thing is you need to have, this has up to 145 watt output, but you can use one of these little portable ones, and it needs to be at least 100 watt output from what I've found with the Starlink. But it has the same hookup back behind here, but then you buy a separate cord, and it's just a USB-C connection. And this thing right here runs this for maybe, while you're using it, probably 3 hours or so. While you're using it, it takes up like 80 to 100 watts, something like that. If you're just letting it run idle, I don't know, 50, 60 watts. So you probably let it be there just to keep connectivity for a little while. I don't know, 6 hours maybe, something like that. So just to get a time frame, don't quote me on those times exactly, but that's an approximate from what I've experienced with it. The initial cost, I think there's even a sale right now, but the initial cost is really pretty reasonable, and you keep the satellite with the router intact into it. The other ones you have a separate router, but with the router intact into it, you keep it. And I think there was a sale for like 200 or 300 bucks or something like that. You can get refurbished ones too, and it's done a really good job. And it's only 50 bucks a month for something like 50 gigs of data, which, you know, isn't a ton in today's world, but if you're just coming out here and just streaming movies the whole time, nothing wrong with a movie or a show or something at night, but if that's all you're doing while you're camping, it's fun sometimes. Like the kids and I will just set up, watch a movie, try to keep it in moderation, enjoy the camping, but also, you know, have some fun, watch the movies, stay connected, whether you need to run a business. I know people that have just done the whole van life thing and worked remote jobs and use Starlink. Starlink's been an absolute game changer for them. So just for comparison, I don't want to say it too loud because they're over there, but my neighbors just turned off their generator, which again, I don't care if you're running a generator, who cares? But listen how silent the Bluetti is. Just boats in the background. Kind of cool. These things are silent. They can recharge off the sun. Don't need to carry extra fuel, especially if you're gauging it for the power usage that you need. So anyways, if you're interested, Bluetti, Starlink, good stuff. That's all.